Welcome to EnfinityCast, where we explore the bleeding edge of science and technology. I'm your host, Elion Quanta. Today, we're stepping into the world of the digital detective, looking at how 21st century forensics are changing the very nature of solving crimes. And to help me unpack this, I'm joined by my co-host, Bryn Sora. Welcome, Bryn.
Thanks, Elion. It's a fascinating topic. We've moved so far beyond the magnifying glass and fingerprint dust. We're talking about tools that can piece together clues from decades-old cases that were once considered permanently cold.
Exactly. Let's start with one of the biggest game changers, genetic genealogy. Most people know it from consumer DNA tests, but how is it being used to catch criminals?
Right. So investigators take DNA from a crime scene, let's say from a 40-year-old murder, and upload that genetic profile to a public genealogy database. They aren't looking for an exact match, but for relatives. They might find a third cousin or a great-nephew. From there, genealogists build out a family tree using public records to narrow down the possibilities until they land on a likely suspect. It's how they caught the Golden State Killer after decades of searching.
That's incredible. It's like a biological breadcrumb trail through time. But it does raise some ethical questions for me. What about privacy? People who upload their DNA to find distant relatives probably aren't thinking they're also implicating a family member in a crime.
That's the central ethical debate, and it's a valid one. There are strict rules about which databases law enforcement can use, and it's typically only those where users have opted in. But the results are undeniable. It's giving names to unidentified victims and bringing closure to families who have waited a lifetime for answers. It's a powerful tool, but one we have to wield carefully.
A careful balance for sure. Let's shift from the microscopic to the macroscopic. I'm really intrigued by 3D crime scene scanning. How does that work?
Imagine being able to walk through a crime scene exactly as it was months or even years later. That's what this technology does. Investigators use high-powered laser scanners to capture millions of data points, creating a perfect two-scale digital replica of the scene. You can measure distances, see blood spatter patterns from any angle, and test hypotheses without ever disturbing the physical evidence.
So it essentially freezes the scene in time digitally. I can see how that would be invaluable for a jury to give them a perspective that photos just can't capture. You can literally put them inside the investigation.
Precisely. It removes ambiguity. You can track a bullet's trajectory or see a line of sight that might have been missed. It's about preserving the context of the evidence, which is often just as important as the evidence itself.
Okay, so we have DNA tracing family trees and lasers mapping crime scenes. What's the final piece of this digital detective's toolkit?
That would have to be AI-powered data analysis. Think about the sheer volume of digital information in any modern investigation. Cell phone location data, financial records, social media activity, hours of surveillance footage. It's impossible for a human to process it all effectively.
And that's where the AI comes in, to find the needle in the digital haystack.
Exactly. An AI can be trained to sift through terabytes of data to identify patterns, connections, and anomalies that would be invisible to us. It can link a suspect to a location through a dozen different data points, or flag a suspicious financial transaction that connects two seemingly unrelated people.
It's not making the final call, but it's pointing detectives in the right direction, saving thousands of hours of work. So, from genetic code to 3D models to AI-driven analysis, it seems the future of forensics is less about what we can see with our eyes and more about what we can compute with our machines. It's a powerful evolution and, as you said, Bryn, one we have to navigate with care.
Absolutely. The technology is a tool. Justice still depends on the humans who use it.
A perfect thought to end on. Thanks for shedding light on that, Bryn. And thanks to all of you for tuning in to EnfinityCast. Join us next time as we explore another frontier of science and technology. Until then, stay curious.